Would you like to know how to turn some everyday objects into some beautiful DIYs? Well, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIY and home decor and more. In addition to those 4 beautiful DIYs, I also accepted a challenge from Constance in Virginia to turn this into a beautiful heart wreath. Now, don't forget to stick around until the very end and I'll have a hint on one of next week's projects. So, let's get crafting! Here's our quick sneak peek into all of today's projects. Take a quick look because we're about to get started. And here is project number 1. I decided I needed some new decor for my coffee bar. And so I am going to start with 2 wooden hearts, one about 3 inches and one about an inch. And I am going to cut those out of cardboard. Now I used a pretty sturdy cardboard, and if you don't have a sturdy cardboard, then you might want to cut 2 of these first hearts. And once we get the big heart done, we are going to come in about 1/4 of an inch or so and make another little heart so that we have a heart cut out. And then I am going to grab some twine, and I got this roll of twine on clearance at Michael's when they are clearing out all their Christmas stuff, and I just love this twine. It is very small though, so it's going to take a minute to get this all wrapped. You're welcome to use whatever twine you have on hand because this year we are crafting out of what we have already in our craft supplies. So I am just going to go ahead and cut off a long piece. It'll make it easier to thread it through that heart and just wrap it around every so often, giving it just a little dab of hot glue to keep it in place and make sure that it is completely covered with this twine. Now, once this heart was completely covered, I did take a little torch and I torched off all the little frayed ends and pieces that stick out. That is totally optional. And now we are going to take a handful of coffee beans and some hot glue, and we are going to glue those all around the outside edge of our heart. Now, this could be Valentine's themed for those coffee lovers out there, or it could just be coffee lovers themed for your coffee bar. But we are going to take our smaller heart and cover it in some truffle chalk paint. That way, any of the cardboard that happens to show through will be a very similar color to our coffee beans. And we are going to go around the outside edge first, all the way around, and then once we've gotten that done, we are going to completely cover both sides of our heart here. And this was actually pretty fun, just, kind of creating my own little puzzle of how the coffee beans were going to fit in there. I don't know about you, but I love puzzles, so that was kind of fun to me. Once we've got it completely covered, then I'm going to grab one of these little composting pots. I bought a whole bunch of them last year at Dollar General when they were on clearance and set them aside, and it was a little bit tall for what I was looking for, so I cut that top edge off and then sanded it down smooth so that I had a nice smooth edge to work from. And I am going to grab some more of that twine, and we are going to completely wrap this little composting pot in twine so that it matches with our heart that we've already wrapped. Now this is going to take, with this little skinny twine, is going to take quite some time to wrap. But again, I just every so often, after I got that first layer set down and glued in nice and tight, then I every so often just added some more glue till I got to the end. And then I am going to top this off with a little bit of this ivory colored lace from Dollar Tree. And and we'll go all the way around the top there. Once we've got that all situated, we are going to grab some floral foam, also from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to fill in that entire top of our little composting pot. Now I realized after I put those beads all the way around that I needed one removed in order to put in my skewer stick to hold our little heart inside here. And then just like the cardboard piece, I went ahead and gave the top of this a nice coat of truffle chalk paint so that we don't have any green poking through. And I went in and put a whole layer of the coffee beans. And once I got the entire layer done, I did decide to go in and kind of mound those up. So you can either do that a couple of ways. You can do it the way I did, which was to just lay them in there and then mound on top of the one layer. Or you could, make your floral foam mounded and then you've only got one layer to glue in there. Once I got that done, I did replace beans on both sides of that bottom piece where the skewer stick comes through, and then I glued on our little heart. Now I'm going to give our stick a little bit of truffle chalk paint to make that match with the rest of our decor. Add a few more coffee beans around the outside edge and a little lace bow. And this project will be complete. I love, love, love how this turned out, and it looks so cute on my coffee bar, and it would be a perfect gift for those coffee lovers out there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you drink coffee, do you drink ground coffee or do you grind your own with full-size beans? Well, let me know that too. And that will bring us to project number 2. This is the viewer challenge that Constance issued me to take this slinky. Now she sent me kind of a mock-up of what she was thinking, and of course I had to play with it. Did you guys have slinkies when you were little? I loved to run that slinky down, up and down, well, not up the stairs. Obviously it didn't go up the stairs, but down the stairs. Always thought that was so much fun. So I'm going to take some wire and I am going to create 2 places where we're going to secure the slinky into a round circle. And then I'm trying to kind of figure out in my head how to secure this to make it into a heart shape. So I did secure down at the bottom also, kind of halfway through another section that's going to be the point of our heart. And then I took this, it's 18 gauge, 55 pound wire. Now I bought this at Walmart. I've used it for lots and lots of projects you guys have seen. But I measured out enough to go all the way around on the inside of the heart so that we can keep our slinky from falling apart. So we're going to go ahead and run that through the entire slinky, threading it through. Obviously, it didn't want to go in the shape of the heart, so we'll get it in a circle and then we'll replace our little holder pieces to hold our slinky into the heart shape until we can get this all situated. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a wire piece and I am going to secure the center point of our heart and then make sure that the wire itself forms the heart. And once you've gotten that in there, and it only required one point of contact at the top and one point of contact at the bottom, and it is holding its shape. Now to hang this, if you were to stop at this point, you'd want to put your hanger on either hump at the top. But I didn't like the way it looked with that wire going through there when I whitewashed it. And so I came in with some chiffon and I am gluing the chiffon down onto the individual rungs of that rungs, are they called rungs, springs, wire pieces of that slinky, and I'm using fabric glue because it is more forgiving, I think, as far as, you know, showing up than regular hot glue or a lot of the fabric glue that I use in the tube requires you to iron it on in order to keep it there. So I wanted to make sure that it stayed secure, and I wanted the front part to look kind of like a ruffly effect, and so I pushed that down onto the inside, and then the back side is just smooth. As I'm gluing this down, I'm also trimming off some of those excess pieces so I don't have too much showing on the front, and any doubling up of the chiffon is on the back side. And then just gluing down all the edges to make sure we are completely secure all the way around. Now that we've closed our heart up, we are going to have to make a couple little snips on either side, and I kind of counted out from one side to the other so it was even. And for now, I'm going to use this piece of fabric as our placeholder. Then I was trying to decide how to decorate it from there. And I am going to take some lengths of ribbon. I made really long tails, and that's all it is just tails of different kinds of white ribbon that I had, and white pieces of fabric that I had, and a little more of that chiffon. Still trying to decide about that flower on there. I like to, you know, place something and then sit with it a minute. But I cut a little hole through that bottom piece of the chiffon, and I am just running my pieces of ribbon and fabric through it to make my little tails, and just putting in, you know, as many as I wanted, as long as I wanted. And then we are going to grab a couple more pieces of the chiffon, and I glued it together because I just had a short piece. So I used some of that fabric hot glue and glued two short pieces together to make a little chiffon bow. And then I decided I didn't like that fabric hanger. I wanted more of a lace, and this is a lace and a pearl look hanger that I found at Hobby Lobby. It's not a hanger, it's lace. And then I placed some of these white daisies on there, sunflower daisies, because I just wanted that clean white look, and I love how the brown just pops off. But you can see here how I got the edge nice and clean, so it looks professional, I think. And I think this would be the perfect heart decor piece for a wedding. Thank you so much, Constance, for this challenge. It really did challenge me. I just wanted to pop in here real quick and tell you thank you and how much I appreciate having you here with me today. If you're a regular subscriber and y'all know who you are, you bless my heart each week with your kind comments and showing up for me. If you are new here, I am very glad that you stopped in, and would be honored if you would hit that subscribe button and click the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Now, let's get back to crafting. And that brings us to project number 3. This is also another one I think could work really well as a wedding decor piece. We are going to start with some more of that 18 gauge 55-pound wire, and first we're going to kind of straighten it all out, and then I'm trying to figure out how to make the heart so that it's at the base of this little candle holder. Now, this candle holder is obviously made for battery operated candles. I don't think you would want to burn anything in it. I'm using kind of a poly material to decorate this with. So we are going to go ahead and get that heart down at the base. And first I thought maybe I would twist these wires up behind it, but then I figured out that it would probably be best to flip them up the other direction. So
So we started with them directly behind, and then I set it down on the table, and I'm kind of thinking through, what is this going to look like and the stability purpose of it all. And then decided that it would be better if they were wrapped around the other side. So we'll go with that look. Now I am going to use a hollow material. This is kind of a macrame material. And this one's not cotton, it's more of a polyester. And I slid it through that wire, or slid the wire through the center of it. And then we're going to go ahead and glue that base together. And I have one of these tubes. This is from, I want to say it's from some vinyl maybe. And so it was just the perfect size for those candles. And then I cut out some little cardboard bases so that it had something to sit into and gives me something to wrap our material around. So because this is polyester, it does light, and that was able to take that frayed edge and clean it up a bit. And then we're just going to use some more of that fabric hot glue and secure this to the bottom and then all the way up around the sides. Make sure when you get it up to the very top that you cover up that top ledge lip of your little cardboard tube there. That way you're not seeing that rough edge. Now I could have used the straighter edge on the top, but I probably still would have covered it up. And then when you get that last little bit, just take your lighter there and clean it up again. That way you don't have any fraying on the edges. And our candle fits in there snug as a bug in a rug. We're going to go ahead and grab our little Cricut weeding tool and create some little holes in the bottom, and that will be perfect for our wire to go through. There, we can fit it right in there, and then we'll take our little wire or pliers there and bend it over to hold it in. Seal off our fraying edges, add a little bit of our fabric hot glue on the bottom to secure that together, and then a little bit of our regular hot glue in the top to make sure that that wire is not moving around. And we'll do that to both sides, put our candles in there, and then we are going to take just a wood slice piece and go ahead and glue this down. Now you'll see it's not especially secure there, and so I'm going to go in and grab some florals, and we will put some florals down at the base, and that will help secure our little candle holder. And I just think this is so sweet, and I think it would be the cutest little centerpiece for a rustic little wedding. And that brings us to project number 4. I have to tell you guys, this is probably one of my favorites. So I am going to take some of this green paddle wire, and I am going to take off about, I want to say it was 16 inches or so. And just kind of flatten that out, make sure that it's good and flat, and then we will wrap it around this little tin to make sure that it gets a nice little wrapped shape, a little, what am I trying to say here, a little oval type shape there at the top. And we will do 3 of those, and we are going to make our own little bird cage out of this paddle wire. And once I've gotten all 3 of those done, we will set those aside, and I'm going to use these tiny little, oh, they're not tiny, these little storage containers from Dollar Tree. They come 2 to a pack, and we're going to use the bottom. And then I've got some of these cheapy little Temu birds that I had in my craft supplies, and we are going to zhuzh them up so that they look nice and fancy pants. Actually, I was really surprised when I got done with these little plastic birds how much better they looked, and you couldn't even tell that they were little plastic birds. I was really impressed. So I'm going to use the feathers that I took off and kind of fill in around the eyes and the beak with some of that little bit of that fabric hot glue. I'm using that a lot this time, and I use the Surebonder fabric hot glue. I don't know what other brands there might be out there, but I do love this Surebonder. And then we're going to come in with just some red chalk paint. It actually matched really well. And I'm going to give it brush strokes in the same direction as the feather so that it kind of looks like a faux feather. Even close up, it looked really, really good. And then I'm going to take some of the truffle chalk paint and we are going to paint his little beak and also his little feet. And anytime you paint plastic, it gives it a much higher end look. And then I decided to go ahead and paint our little metal piece. Now, if you don't have this, you can use any kind of small container that you might have. Round, I think, would probably work best. But if you're going to use a metal container, you know, and you put chalk paint on it, if you're not using spray paint, you want to dab it on there. Because if you use a brushing motion, then you'll have brush strokes and it won't give you as good a coverage. And I only had to do one cover. Then I'm going to take some of this Excelsior moss and we are going to make a little bird's nest on top of some floral foam that I stuck in there. And then we're going to put on our 3 pieces in the shape of a cage. Once we've got that done, we'll grab a little bit more paddle wire and we are going to make a little hanger at the top. This will also be used to secure our 3 pieces together so that they stay in that cage form, cage shape. And then we're going to wrap this around until we have a nice little secure hanger. And I ended up wrapping it a couple more times after I got done just to make sure that it stood upright. And then the green just did not do it for me. So I'm going to come in with some truffle chalk paint and I'm going to paint my wire to match my base. And I think that turned out so pretty. And then we'll add some hot glue on top of that floral foam and glue down our little bird's nest here and our little moss pieces. And once we get that to our liking, then I'm going to grab that bird and I'm going to go ahead and use the little wire pieces that he came with and set him down into that floral foam. Give our bird's nest a little haircut there and make sure that it's all filled in where it needs to be so we don't see any of that green floral foam poking out. Then I had a little bit of that chiffon left, and so I made a tiny little shoestring bow to put at the top of our little bird cage, and I just think this turned out so sweet, and I love the way this sits on my counter. And I think it kind of brings Valentines a little bit, but it also moves you right into spring. Or it could be used for everyday decor if you like that cottage style. And that brings us to our final project, project number 5. And I love cardinals so much, so I thought, well, let's use another one. And so I took this piece of cardboard and measured it off and then used my little utility knife to cut it so that we have 2 3.5-inch pieces, and I believe they're about 10 inches, maybe 11 inches long, and that's what we're going to make this heart out of. So to make it first, and you want cardboard that you can move around and kind of form and shape for this project. So first we're going to add some of that super glue, wood glue by super glue that you can get at the Dollar Tree at the top, and then clamp that down so it dries in that position. And then we are going to grab some more of that wood glue and we are going to glue a nice little tab down at the bottom and also secure that off with some clamps. The pink clamps came from the crafters section, and these black clamps came from Dollar Tree in their hardware section, both $1.25. Now, to make this not look like a cardboard heart, we are going to come in with some caulk from the Dollar Tree and then with some spackling. You know, they used to carry spackling at the Dollar Tree and they don't anymore, which I'm really disappointed about. But I'm going to use a little palette piece and we are going to just give it a nice good coat of the spackling all around, and we use the caulk all around the edges to kind of fill in where the cardboard look was. Now, to completely remove the rest of the cardboard look, we're going to grab some Snow White chalk paint and we are going to paint the entire thing. I did wait until it was dry, the spackling was all dry, and then painted that as well so that it wouldn't continue to chip off. And then we are going to set that aside. Now, I grabbed two of these little bird ornaments that they had at the Dollar Tree at Christmas time, and I'm taking off the little metal pieces, and I also scraped off all the glitter that I could get off into my trash can there, and then painted over top of it with some of that red chalk paint. And then I'm giving his little beak, and his little feet some brown chalk paint. And then while that heart dries, and I'm putting in my little paint jars to help hold its shape, I am going to grab some of these laser cut butterflies that you can buy at the Dollar Tree, and I am going to halfway cut through both sides of the little butterfly body so that we can make this butterfly look like it's in flight. So we're going to grab some brown chalk paint for the body and then some yellow, and this is a lemonade color. I don't remember the brand off the top of my head. And then we are going to glue those together. And once I got it up there on the little heart, I decided the yellow by itself didn't quite go with my cardinal. And so now we're kind of making it into a monarch-ish butterfly with some of this ocean blue chalk paint by Waverly. And I think it kind of matches with that little blue and yellow daisy that we are also going to use for the top, and that came from Dollar Tree. Now you can buy this big old container of wood pieces from Hobby Lobby, and normally it's $10. If you buy it when it's 40% off, then you can get it for $6, and I think that's a heck of a deal. And it had these little egg shapes in there, and so I grabbed 3 of those out and some more of that Excelsior to make a little bird's nest. And we are going to give our little cardinal some little bird eggs. So first we're going to use our hot glue and kind of form the nest. And I painted those eggs in an ivory color to start. And once we get our nest all done and we get our eggs glued into it, I am going to take some of that truffle chalk paint and some water, and we are going to spackle these eggs. So just a little bit of paint, a little bit of water, and tap your brush there, and you can get your spackling done. And then we're going to put this all together now. So we'll add our little bird's nest into our heart and get our bird situated where we want him to be, and we will glue him down with a little bit of hot glue too. And I think the texture on this heart is just so beautiful, and nobody would know that it started out as a piece of throwaway cardboard. Now before we get our daisies up there, we're going to take this little stem apart. I'm pretty sure I got this from the Dollar Tree, and it's been in my craft supplies for waiting for this right opportunity. But the leaves were too long, I thought, and so I'm going to give them a haircut and then cut them all to match the same design that I cut so it looks uniform. And once I've gotten that done, I am going to trim off the little bottom piece so that it kind of sits flatter on top of my heart. And we're going to add also some little daisies in there too. So I'm using my handy dandy little wire cutters that I bought at Harbor Freight. You know, guys, I love these. Best $2 investment I've ever made. And this particular tool at Harbor Freight, if anything ever goes wrong with them, I can take them back. They have a lifetime warranty and they'll replace them for free. So super, super deal. And so we're going to trim off the little bottom pieces off of our daisies as well, so they'll sit flat, and glue those up there with a little bit of hot glue. And then we'll grab our butterfly and have it go into flight on the top of our heart. And this project is complete. I love this. I think it is so beautiful, and I think it looks not just rustic but high-end rustic. What do you guys think? Which was your favorite project from today? Let me know in the comments below. Look at those eggs. It was so funny when I was painting those. My husband said, those almost look like real eggs. And even though it's in the shape of a heart, I really feel like this could transition to everyday decor. Here's our final look at today's projects. I love all of these, and I'm really struggling to find just one that's my favorite. So you guys let me know which is your favorite down in the comments below. If you do recreate any of these, please send me pictures of your creations. I would love to see them. And if any of you would like to issue a challenge, I am up for it. Just send it to happytuesdaydiy@gmail.com. Thanks again to Constance for issuing that challenge. Challenge accepted, and I hope that this heart met with your expectations. I love, love, love the way it turned out, and am honored that you asked me to do it.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around with me till the very end, here's your hint on one of next week's projects. You are going to need some beads and some twine and some wire. But until then, make it a great day and happy Tuesday!